All right, welcome back for example 3, identifying a right triangle. So we are going to tell whether the given side length form a right triangle. And to do that, we're going to use the Pythagorean theorem. Okay, so whenever we're using a Pythagorean theorem, right, we know that we're dealing with a right triangle, right? There's a 90 degree. Across in the 90 degree is the hypotenuse, or C, and then these are the two legs, correct? Now, what we know about this is that this C is always going to be the biggest number. And the reason why that is because the biggest side is always across from the biggest angle, and 90 is the biggest angle out of these three. It's always going to be the biggest, so it's always going to be across from the biggest side. So it's kind of fun. It's like a relationship between angles and sides. The smallest angle is across from the smallest side. The biggest angle is across from the biggest side, and the angle in the middle is always across from the side in the middle. So that's just kind of like a fun little relationship. All right, so when I look at these, I see that this is the biggest number. So this is going to be my C, and then out of these, it doesn't really matter. So I'm going to say that A is equal to 9, B is equal to 12, but the biggest one has to be C. So what we're going to do is we're going to see if this is a right triangle or not. To do that, we're going to use the Pythagorean theorem, a squared plus b squared equals c squared. I'm going to input these values, right? So 9 goes in there, plus 12 goes in here, and 15 goes in here. And if this is a true statement, then it ends up that this is the makeup of a right triangle. If this is a false statement, then these are not the side lengths for a right triangle. So that's kind of how it works. So we just kind of figure it out, and we really don't know if this is a right triangle or not, okay? So 9 squared would be 81, plus 12 squared is 144, equals 15 squared, which is 225. Now we just need to add up these numbers. I'm going to do that on the side. 144 plus 81. So 4 plus 1 is 5. 4 plus 8 is 2. Carry the 1. 225. So since this is a true statement, that means that this is a triangle. So yes, a right triangle. I'll just go right triangle like that. Woohoo! Okay, let's go ahead and move on to the next one. Okay, let's see if this is a right triangle. So all these sides, these side lengths will make a right triangle. Okay, let's look at this one. So which one's the biggest? 13, so we know that's our C. So I'm going to call this A equals 8, B equals 10, and C equals 13. Then I'm going to use that Pythagorean theorem, right? And just substitute in all the values. So 8 goes in for A, 10 goes in for B, and 13 goes in for C. And now we simplify, right? We just work it out, and we're trying to see if this is equal. We don't know if it's equal or not. It's like a big mystery. If it's equal, then it's a right triangle. If it's unequal, then it's not a right triangle. So 8 squared is the same thing as 8 times 8, which is 64, plus 10 squared, same thing as 10 times 10, which is 100. And 13 squared is 169, and we add those together, we get 164 is not equal to 169. So no, this is not a right triangle. So boom, there you have it. Okay, now it is your turn. I want you to go ahead and try C and D and determine if these side lengths are a right triangle or not. Okay, so here's my friend, the pause dragon, coming in to remind you to pause your device. Go ahead and work out C, D. When you get done, press play and we'll talk about it together. All right, see you in a bit. Okay, we are back. Let's see how you did. Okay, so we have 10, 15, and 18. This is the biggest one, so this is C. I'm going to say A is equal to 10, B is equal to 15, and C is equal to 18. All right, let's go ahead. We're going to write down that Pythagorean theorem and then substitute in the values. And then yes, and then it's nice because we have all these memorized. 10 squared is 100. 15 squared is 225, and 18 squared is 324. Just makes life so much easier. We can do these problems a lot faster. We add that, we get 325. We're wondering if these are equal. And they are not. That means that no, this is not a right triangle. So if you got that one right, great job. Please make sure that you're showing all your work like I do on my paper. So if you do not, you need to go ahead and fix your notes so they look exactly like mine. Okay, let's go ahead and look at this next one here. So the biggest number is 25. That's going to be our C. So we're going to say, let's define our terms. A equals 7, B equals 24, and C equals 25. I'm going to go ahead and write that wonderful, magnificent Pythagorean theorem down. It is my favorite. Okay, then we go ahead and plug in 7 squared plus 24 squared equals 25 squared. We're just going to, is that equal? I don't know, we will figure it out. 7 squared is the same thing as 49. Man, I wish that I had those memorized. I do not, so I have to figure them out. 24 times 24, 4 times 4 is 16, 2 times 4 is 8, plus 1 is 9. Gotta put a 0 here. 2 times 4 is 8, 2 times 2 is 4. Okay, 576. And then, excuse me, you have to figure out what 25 squared is. Like I said, I wish I had this memorized right now. 5 times 5 is 25. Write the 5, carry the 2. 10, 12. 2 times 5 is 10. Write the 0, carry the 1. 2 times 2 is 4, plus 1 is 5. Add, and we get 625. Okay, is this equal? I don't know. We need to add these two up. So I'm going to go 576 plus 49. 6 plus 9 is 15. Write the 5, carry the 1. That's 11, 12, 6. And they equal. 625 equals 625. This is a true statement. Woohoo! So that means yes. Yes, this is a right triangle. Woohoo! If you got that one right, yokodenki mashita. You did a wonderful job, and I will see you next time.